What's up, everybody? It's your boy Stevie the Black, STEVEE, the Black. I'm back, and I'm here to give you my Monday Night Raw review. So without wasting any more time, let's kick right into it. So, the very first thing you gotta say when you talk about Monday Night Raw is the fact that they have a crowd. You know, they took a bunch of NXT rookie trainees, and they said they had them all tested and they're 6 feet apart and everything, and they got them there for the audience. Hey, are they copying off of AEW? Yes, they are. But hey, sometimes what do they say? What's that one phrase? Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery or something like that. So hey, I mean, if it's a good idea, go ahead and use it. I mean, AEW don't own it, you know, so might as well do it. Um, but it makes a world of difference, man. It really does. Like it's obviously not the same as old things, but it's the best thing that we can do in this time. You know, and at first I felt bad for them because I'm like, wait a minute, I don't see no chairs. They gotta stand up for 3 hours, bro. Like, heck nah. But then I noticed the chairs in the back. They were like way behind them. So okay, they're good to go. All right. So Raw kicks off with the Kevin Owens show. He brings out Asuka, and he's trying to talk to her. He first shows her a clip about what happened last week between her, Kairi Sane, and Nia Jax. And then obviously she's talking in Japanese, and Kevin Owens is so funny. He's like, yeah, yeah, oh yeah, Eventually, Charlotte Flair comes out first, and she's talking about how Asuka shouldn't be the Raw Women's Champion. It should be me, or it should be her, and that how Asuka's never beaten her one-on-one, and unfortunately, that's very true. So, I think they're planting seeds with that one, like how Becky Lynch never beat Asuka before. Asuka's never beaten Asuka's never beaten Charlotte. So I think they're planting seeds for that. I would definitely look forward to seeing that match eventually. Then Natalya comes out, and then Kevin Owens, he starts taking all his Kevin Owens stuff side down, and he's putting out the ring. He's like, "Don't worry, Natty, I already took it down, so that way you don't got to do it." And she's like, He's like, "Don't worry, Kevin." She's like, "I just came out to apologize. You know, I was in the wrong and all that stuff like that." Charlotte calls her irrelevant, and this brings out Nia Jax, who, you know, again says, "I'm going to be the next Raw Women's Champion," and then all three of them fight. Actually, before they do that, Kevin Owens gets out because he's like, I know what's about to happen. And he's like, Asuka, whatever you do not punch Nia Jax in the face. She punches Nia Jax in the face, and then they fight until Asuka's the last one standing in the ring. I thought it was a pretty good segment and a pretty good way to open up the show. Next up, we had Apollo Crews taking on Andrade for the United States Championship. Overall, it was a good match. The only thing I would criticize is the fact that during the match, they had they were interviewing Angel Garza for some reason, and I thought maybe Austin Theory was gonna come and beat him down, which would cause a distraction for Andrade to then lose the title to Apollo Crews, but that did not happen. So I don't know why they did the interview. But eventually, Apollo Crews does end up winning the match, and he is your new United States champion. So congratulations, Apollo Crews. I'm really happy for you. You know, they're doing this push, and I hope he has a good reign. Although I get this feeling that he's gonna lose the titles very soon, because I heard rumors that he might be turning heel and joining MVP's group. So I don't know if that's true, but you know how WWE be doing sometimes. So you're always gotta be on your toes with them. But otherwise, congratulations, Apollo Crews. Next up, the Iconics come out to the ring and they're apologizing to each other. Peyton's apologizing for costing them the match, and then her friend apologized. Billie Kay apologized to her for slapping her in the face, and they both said they should be the Raw Women's Tag Team Champions, and that they weren't really treated fairly when they were tag champs. They never really got any opportunities to defend that said title, and so that brings out the tag champions, Bliss Cross Applesauce, and let me just say, Nikki Cross just goes on this phenomenal promo talking about how she came all the way over from where she used to live to the United States to NXT to the Performance Center, and she had to crawl her way up with nothing, and Alexa Bliss was the only one that was nice to her and helped her out and helps keep her in check and everything like that. And it was a very passionate promo, very good. After she's done the promo though, the Iconics jump them and hold the belt up high. So obviously this feud is not over, but I like where it's going. It's going in a very good direction. Next up, we had the VIP Lounge, MVP and WWE Champion Drew McIntyre He's like, yo, do you remember what happened last time you were here? Drew's like, yeah, you tried to help me out when I told you I didn't need your help, and I claymored you in the face. And MVP was like, yeah, two things happened when that happened. One, I knew you were going to win the WWE Championship, and two, when you lost the title, it was going to be because of me. So, obviously, callbacks, which are always great in wrestling, continuing the story building. Eventually, Bobby Lashley comes out because, again, Drew's like, Bobby was right when he said the only way he's getting this title off me is taking it out of my cold, dead hands. Bobby Lashley comes out. Drew McIntyre Claymore's MVP, and that's it. So, pretty decent segment. It was okay. Next up, we had Angel Garza taking on Kevin Owens. Before Kevin Owens can even get to the ring, Garza comes out and attacks his leg before the match could even start. So we get back from commercial break. Kevin says, let's go, and they fight. Obviously, Garza's constantly going after the leg. Eventually, Kevin tries to go. He gets a few flurries in, tries to go for the pop-up powerbomb, but the leg gives out, which allows Garza to hit the wing clipper for the win. I was very, very shocked. Kevin Owens is, one of the, I won't say veterans, but I guess at this point he is. He's been on the roster for 5 years now? He's one of the best. He's a former world champion, and just to have Garza come and beat him, though by cheating, beating him is very, very surprised. So are these two heading into a feud now? I guess we'll find out. But very, very interesting in that decision, though. Next up, the Street Profits and the Viking Raiders, and their next challenge for each other is golfing. At first, they're on the professional golf course, but they keep making messes and ruining everything. So they're kicked off the golf course, and they go to mini golf. And they mini golf, and eventually the Street Profits end up winning. But so then Ivar starts going into the hole and digging out wallets and turkey legs and a cup. And it's just weird. And then they see a gator, and at first I'm like, is that a real gator or is that a fake gator? Man, that's definitely real. So then they all leave, and then they get to Raw, and they're like, Viking Raiders again. I'm like, nah, bro, we let you win again, which again doesn't really make any sense. I don't understand it. Why are you trying to build them up just to bring them back down? It doesn't really make any sense. So they said next week is going to be the final challenge. I believe it's going to be bowling. It's going to be very interesting to see. Hopefully the Viking Raiders actually try this time, and we'll see who comes out on top, which obviously we'll see if this leads up to the match at Backlash for the tag team titles. After that, though, MVP once again comes and he criticizes the Street Profits, for basically being jokes and not taking themselves seriously. So they challenge each other to a match for later in the night. Next up, we had Murphy and Austin Theory taking on Black and Aleister Black, and Humberto Carrillo. It was a very good match, very short, not long enough, I would say, but it was a very good match. Austin Theory and Murphy end up winning the match. After the match, though, they threatened to poke Humberto's eye into the stair steps like Rey Mysterio, unless Aleister Black and Humberto leave Rollins alone and lets him do his thing. This is very shocking. I have to say, Rollins is very, very interesting in this role. He's very interesting. I'm interested to see where they take this. Obviously, they're building towards him and Rey, because later in the night, they're talking about Rey Mysterio is going to come out and retire next week, but we all know that's a ruse. That's not going to happen. Could it happen? Maybe, but I don't think so. We're going to pull a Mark Henry here, and those two are probably going to have a match at Backlash. Well, not probably. They're going to have a match at Backlash, so just, you heard it here first. I'm pretty sure every other wrestling YouTuber out there is saying the same thing, but you heard it here. You heard me say it too. What's next? Next up, we have a triple threat match. Winner gets to take on Asuka for the Raw Women's title. I really enjoyed this match. I thought it was really, really good. There were a couple of times where I thought Charlotte was going to win, and although I said I look forward to when Charlotte and Asuka go at it, that is not right now, because God knows Vince will probably have her win and she'll be a double champion, and I cannot take that, okay? Because then she'll be a 13-time world champion, 3 away from tying her dad. And again, I posed the question after WrestleMania. It's crazy that we have to say who's going to reach 17 world titles first between John Cena and Charlotte Flair. That is ridiculous, and we should not be asking that question. But regardless, Natalia, and Charlotte working together constant times to keep Nia Jax out of the match. Asuka was on commentary and she was entertaining as always, just saying she was rooting for like everybody at certain points during the match, but she's entertaining as always. Eventually though, Nia Jax ends up winning the match, and as we all figured, that's what happened. So now we're getting Nia Jax versus Asuka at Backlash for the Raw Women's title. Again, I'm looking forward to it. I want to see how they play this. I don't know if they've ever had a match before, but I'm definitely interested to see how this goes. And then finally, we had a tag team match between the Street Profits taking on MVP and Bobby Lashley. It was a pretty decent match. Back and forth. The heels obviously dominated most of it. But in the end, when it looked like the Street Profits were about to go for the win after the frog splash, Bobby Lashley comes in, who was not the legal man, and he puts Montez Ford in the full Nelson. And since he was not the legal man and the ref counted to 5, he was indeed disqualified, and the Street Profits win by disqualification. After the match, though, or after the bell had rang for the disqualification, Drew McIntyre comes out, and he and Bobby Lashley fight, and causing the NXT trainees to come in the ring and try to separate them. Although the fight was kind of sloppy, I don't know. That's probably just accidental. I hope that's no indication about the match at Backlash. But overall, that's pretty much how Raw ended. I gotta say, Raw was pretty entertaining. The crowd that they have there it makes all the difference. It feels more natural, feels good. You know, again, you could say, oh, they copied off of AEW, but AEW doesn't own it. So AEW does not own that concept. So, I mean, I don't know how long AEW's been doing it, because I have not been watching it. I have been paying attention and keeping up, but I have not been watching it. So for this to happen, for them to do it, it was great. I have to say Raw, I'm going to give Raw a B. Again, I thought it was really, really good episode. And we'll see if they can keep it up. So that's pretty much it. That's all I got to say. So there's one last thing I have to say before I go. I know I promised an Eagles video yesterday, but stuff happens. So I promise, it will come out this week. Eagles video will come out this week. I can't make that promise of when. Maybe it's later today, maybe it's tomorrow, maybe it's Thursday, maybe it's Friday, whenever. But it's going to happen this week. I promise you, and I guarantee you that it's going to happen. I have some things to say to get off my chest about the Eagles, and I cannot wait for what your thoughts on it. But that is pretty much it. If you have not checked out my other video for WrestleMania 14, please go check that out, because just give my opinion on it and everything. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you're not down with that, I've just got 2 words for you. Fly Eagles, fly out, Eagles on the brain. Peace out, and I'll talk to you guys later.